How's it going, guys? I hope you guys are having a great week. So I'm back today with another game news related video. Now, sorry this is a little bit late, guys, but today I'm going to actually give my opinion and weigh in a little bit on the Game Awards that aired about 10 days ago on the 7th of December. So let's do that then, guys. Let's get straight into this. So what did I think of the Game Awards this year? Actually, I really enjoyed it. This year, I thought this was actually one of the best Game Awards that we've had in the last sort of 5 years. I thought Jeff did a really good job this year, and I thought the pacing was really good. Some of the announcements are great. The awards were good. And it just had a really good sort of message all the way through it. Now, of course, there were some cringeworthy moments like there are in every Game Awards, absolutely, and I will talk about those, but actually there were less of them this year, and I actually found the entire sort of ceremony really endearing and just really positive, and, you know, really a celebration of everything that's great about gaming. And there were definitely some well-deserved awards, which I'll talk about. But I want to start off by talking about kind of the really good things about the Game Awards that I really liked. So I loved the message. I love the whole positive message of, you know, that we are one community, whether we're Xbox players, whether we're PlayStation, whether we're Nintendo players, we are all gamers and we all love the medium that is gaming, whether that be multiplayer, role-playing, story, platform, fighting, shooting, whatever it might be. We love games, and I thought it was a really nice, positive message. And the Game Awards started off with something that I honestly never thought we would see, and that was when Sean Layden, Phil Spencer, and Reggie Fils-Aimé, all three of them came out on stage and talked about the gaming community and games as a medium together, and sort of showed this solidarity. And I thought that was really interesting. And I think, you know, it's been really cool now that PlayStation have finally gotten on board with cross-play, which obviously we had in Fortnite. Hopefully we're going to see a lot more of that in many other titles. I think that would be really awesome, because I have friends that have, you know, a variety of consoles, and there are quite a few games that are multiplayer that are coming out, and I think it would be really, really awesome to be able to play those with people from other platforms. I think that would be really, really cool. And I'm hoping that, you know, all three of them coming up on stage is kind of a sign of where things are going to go with the sort of the big three, and, you know, that they're going to work more together, and yeah, hopefully there'll be more crossplay in the future. But I love that moment. I thought that moment was really, really special, and just was really awesome that Jeff was able to organize something like that. So let's talk about the setting of the Game Awards this year. The musical orchestra I absolutely loved. I imagine it was incredible to be there. There were some really cool moments using the orchestra. Just off the top of my head, you know, where they did sort of God of War music, and I think they showcased some Red Dead Redemption 2. But the really epic moment for me was when they played the musical scores of all the games that had been nominated for the Game of the Year. And I played pretty much all those games except Celeste. That was the only one I didn't get to play this year, and I will play it at some point. But it was really awesome because the music in those games is just incredible, and it's such an intricate part of the game and of the story and of the emotional impact that game has on you. And I thought it was really interesting because all of the games that were in the Game Awards, they all had very different styles of music, and it was great to see an orchestra play that live. And yeah, I thought the orchestra was a really nice addition, particularly when they showed some of the gameplay and some of the trailers behind it. And it just sort of hit those nostalgia moments, and it just sort of reminded me of really epic moments, you know, that I've played this year in 2018. And I think 2018 has been an absolutely fantastic year for games. I think the quality and standard this year has been incredibly high, and, you know, I'm optimistic for 2019. There's a lot of games coming out next year that I'm looking forward to, and of course I will do a video on that later on this month, possibly beginning of next month. And of course I will be doing a review of 2018 as well, and what I thought the best games were. So let's talk a little bit about the awards and also some of the announcements. So I thought that the pacing for the Game Awards this year was really good. I thought that they mixed some of the awards in with the announcements quite well. The way they did the trailers, they had some surprise reveals, and I really liked what they did. They did like Super Smash Brothers Ultimate, where they basically revealed Joker, the main character from Persona 5, as the first DLC character in the new Fighters Pass that you can get. And I loved the way he just kind of like infiltrated the Game Awards, and they made the trailer like specific to the Game Awards and the commentary and everything. And I really loved that. I thought that was really, really epic. And Dante's super hyped for that announcement. Myself as well, because he's getting Super Smash Brothers Ultimate for Christmas, along with the season pass as well. And yeah, he's very hyped for that game, as a massive fan of that franchise. Let's talk about some of the announcements that we heard that I loved. Some games coming out next year in 2019 that I think look really interesting and are kind of on my radar. There were a lot of indie titles this year that were announced at the Game Awards that really surprised me, and there were a lot of like indie trailers and indie titles that when they came on, I'm like, oh, that looks really good. And I have to say, like 2019 for me, there's a lot of indie titles that I want to play and looked really, really cool. So I'm going to talk about a couple of the ones that really were stand out for me. Hades is probably the first one by Supergiant Games. They're the developers that brought us the incredible Transistor and Bastion, both of which have incredible soundtracks. And Hades just looked really cool. They have said that the game isn't finished. It's about a year and a half away, but they are offering an early access to the game, which you can buy and download from the Epic Games website on PC. The trailer that we saw with the gameplay, the art style, the fact that it's set in kind of like Greek mythology, which if you know me, you know I love that kind of thing. It looks really, really, really cool. So yeah, I'm very hyped about Hades. That looks incredible. Another indie title that sort of piqued my interest was The Last Campfire. That's the next game by Hello Games, which are the team that obviously brought us the controversial No Man's Sky. I hope they learn their lesson from No Man's Sky. Visually, the game looks really interesting. It looks really beautiful. I've got no idea what the game is or how it's going to play, but it looked really cool, and I love the art style. And yeah, it was definitely something that was interesting. We then got to see Outer Worlds. That's by, of course, Obsidian. And, you know, these are the guys that brought us Fallout New Vegas. And for me, that's one of the best Fallout games that existed. That is one of the best games for me. And this game looks fun. Like it's a first person, obviously. The art style and the humor, it's definitely giving me like vibes of Fallout and Borderlands. And that, you know, that marriage between those two games just sounds incredibly exciting. So the Outer Worlds for me looked really, really interesting as well. And then, of course, we got to see a lot of other trailers. So we finally got a reveal on Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled. Now, I'll be honest, I never played that game as a kid growing up. I was always more of a Mario Kart player. But I have heard it's an incredible racing game. And I've heard it's really, really good. And, yeah, I definitely will be picking it up and playing it for sure. But yeah, it looked really awesome. We got to see a story trailer for Anthem. I think BioWare showcased two things at the Game Awards this year. Anthem obviously was the first one, and then of course we had a teaser trailer for the new Dragon Age, which is called Dreadwolf Rises, the sequel to Dragon Age Inquisition basically. Let's talk a little bit about Anthem first. We got like a story trailer. For me, it didn't really add anything new. We already know a little bit about the general world, the lore, some of the factions. So we did get to see what I appears to be the main antagonist, but it didn't really add anything for me. And you know, obviously we've seen a lot of gameplay and whatnot. I would have preferred for them to showed a little bit of exploration of the story hub world that you can explore, sort of see how that's going to work. But this game is coming out in February, so maybe they don't need to show too much at the moment. But yeah, Anthem for me, it was a meh. I didn't really add too much to it. It was cool to see Casey Hudson up on stage, of course. I do like Casey Hudson. We then of course got a teaser trailer for the new Dragon Age game, just to showcase that we are working on things other than Anthem, just to reassure fans of BioWare. And of course, I'm pretty sure that we heard Solus in that teaser trailer, so I'm pretty sure that the new Dragon Age is going to be a direct sequel to Dragon Age Inquisition. It's going to be really interesting if we're actually playing as our Inquisitor, and if that's going to be a transferable character, because obviously it's going to be on the same generation console. So that's, those save file transfers are definitely going to be doable, in terms of them being able to do it. It would be really cool if that was the case, because that's never really happened with Dragon Age. Mass Effect was always the one where you transferred your character and a story was told with the same characters, the same story over a trilogy. Dragon Age they've always been connected in terms of lore and the world and the general timeline of events, but your main character in each game was always different. So it will be really interesting if they choose to actually take your Inquisitor in Inquisition into the next Dragon Age game. And I think that would be really cool, because I'd like to see those relationships that we built up in Inquisition. I'd like to see those continue on, and I really want to see the fallout from Solus, and how your Inquisitor sort of deals with that. And so I'm hoping that might very well be the case, but we didn't see much. It was a teaser trailer, which was really, really, really short. Then of course we got a trailer for Devil May Cry 5. Game looks great. We got to see some of the different characters. Of course, we got to see Dante, Nero. So it looked good. That game looks really good. And yeah, I'm super looking forward to that. We got to see some new trailer reveals. So Psychonauts 2, which is coming out. I'll be honest, I never played the first one. So I don't know much about it, but the gameplay looked good. It looked like an interesting platforming game. I liked the art style. It looked interesting. The bit of gameplay that we did see. We got to see a new trailer for Far Cry New Dawn. The game looks weird. It's set basically straight after, I think, Far Cry 5. They massively spoiled the end of Far Cry 5 for those that hadn't played or finished the game, and I think that was pretty stupid, because if they want people to buy Far Cry 5 for Christmas, then that ending is now spoiled if you watch the Game Awards. And I'll be honest, I haven't played Far Cry 5, but it was just on the sale, so I've just bought it, but now I know how the game ends, which is kind of annoying. But it's set straight after it. It's set in this apocalyptic world, and the art style is interesting. Usually apocalyptic worlds, you think it's really dark and really drab, but it's not. It definitely, the color palette, there's a lot of pink in that trailer, in that game, and it totally is giving me vibes of Rage 2, absolutely. I'm not overly interested in it at the moment. It looked very samey to other Far Cry games in terms of gameplay mechanics and that kind of thing. Even the main characters that they showed, I didn't find them overly charismatic or interesting, so maybe we'll see more, who knows, in the months ahead. We then got to see a trailer for a brand new game by Ubisoft, which looked weird. It was called Ancestors: The Humankind Odyssey, and basically it's set is it 10,000 years in the past, and you play as an ape, but you play through the evolution of man, the different stages to the evolution. So it looked weird. It's like a survival game. Like, I really don't know what to make of this game whatsoever, but the trailer's got me intrigued, and hopefully we'll find out more about it. Maybe we'll find out more at E3. I think it would be a good title for them to obviously look at in more detail. Let's of course talk about the awards that were revealed at the Game Awards. There were a lot of big awards. Now, Red Dead Redemption 2 did very well at the Game Awards. I think it won like Best Narrative, Best Score, Best Audio Design as well, and of course Best Performance. Roger Clark, who plays obviously Arthur Morgan, won Best Performance. So after all the awards that Red Dead Redemption was given, I was really expecting it to win. I was totally expecting it to win Game of the Year. So, I was surprised, pleasantly so, because all the contenders for Game of the Year this year were excellent games. All of them really, would have deserved to win the title. All very different games, incredible experiences. I've played all of them except Celeste. But yeah, God of War won this year, and I was really surprised because I thought Red Dead Redemption 2 came out more recently. It's made more of a splash. It's been quite a few months since God of War came out. So, I was starting to feel a little bit bad for God of War and sort of going, oh no, like poor Corey, like, he did an incredible game and it's not going to get, the due recognition it deserves. But actually God of War did quite well. Of course, it got Best Game Direction. It got Best Action Adventure as well, though they did sneak that announcement in there rather than doing it as a separate award. And of course it got Game of the Year, and it's an incredible game. It was definitely a worthy winner for Game of the Year. I'm not going to say yet what my Game of the Year is because I haven't finished Red Dead Redemption 2 yet. I'm hoping I can get that game finished by the end of the week so that I fully completed it, and then I can obviously really reflect on the last 12 months and let you guys know what my top 5 games are, and obviously what my Game of the Year is going to be as well. But I'm happy God of War got Game of the Year. It's a very, very good game, and it was really cool to see Corey up on stage get the recognition, and his team get the recognition that they deserve, because they did an outstanding job, and they did really, really well. And there were some other games that got awards that I really agreed with. Best indie title obviously being Celeste. Haven't played it. Need to play that game, as well as Dead Cells as well. Best action game, of course, was Dead Cells. I need to play that game as well. And best RPG was Monster Hunter World. And that game is fantastic. Really, really good game. I put so many hours into that game, over 150 hours into Monster Hunter World. I played it with Dante and my other friend Edge, and we loved it. Absolutely loved Monster Hunter World. I haven't played a game as much as I had that game at the beginning of the year, and it just kept bringing me back. It just kept bringing me back to it. The monsters, the crafting system, just incredible, phenomenal role-playing game. If you haven't played Monster Hunter World, it is absolutely well worth a pick up, especially with all the free additions and all the new content that's come out over the last 12 months. They've really done justice to that game in terms of the amount of content and how they've kept fans coming back in with special events and that kind of thing. And then of course we've got the new Frozen Lands, is it, or Frozen World expansion pack that's coming out next year, and of course the Witcher 3 collaboration that they're doing at the beginning of 2019 as well. So that's probably going to pull me back in to play Monster Hunter World yes again. But a great game. There were some games though that were nominated that for best action game that I just felt didn't deserve to be there. Destiny 2 was nominated. I don't know how that game was nominated. For me, having spoken to my Edge and Sam, both of who are massive fans of Destiny, and I played the first game with them. They and a lot of other people said how disappointed they were with Destiny 2. All the really dodgy things that Bungie were doing, in terms of the grind and the loot and the microtransactions and everything else. Honestly, that game did not deserve to be nominated this year. There were just a couple of games and I'm like, really, you're really scraping the barrel, and that was definitely one of them. So those were the really, really good moments. Of course, there were some cringy moments, and I want to talk about those very, very quickly. There were a lot of cringe moments this year in the Game Awards, and most of it really for me was anything to do with like esports related. I get it why they might do it, because there's still quite a large proportion of people that do watch esports. It brings in a lot of money, obviously, a lot of sponsorship. I get why they would want to promote it, why they would want to awards for things to do with it, but I don't have any interest in it, and I would have rather that time been spent giving awards to developers, to people that have spent hours and years of blood, sweat and tears into these games. It's the developers that deserve the recognition. Anything esports just doesn't interest me. I think they did bring it was like top esports player of the year, and I think it was Sonic Fox. And he was all nice, he was sweet and all. He was quite endearing, actually, and very random. But it was like, I don't know, anything esports, I don't have any interest in it. So I really was like, okay, that's nice and all, but get on with it. I want to hear who's got awards. I want to hear announcements, that kind of thing. Of course, we did have the Mortal Kombat 11, teaser trailer, the cinematic trailer. The trailer itself, the animation looked incredible. It looked brutal, but the music was awful for that trailer. It was just so out of place. It shouldn't have been there. Blue flame. I was strapped when I stood inside your boo thing. 21 immortal. We'll never die. Loyal to my brother. I never lie. As well, they did show an on-stage rendition of Devil Trigger, which is the new theme song for Devil May Cry 5. I like the song, don't get me wrong, but I thought the band who delivered it, their stage presence was really awkward. There were some really awkward moments in that performance with tongue action and all sorts of things, and I just thought it was really cringeworthy moment. If you close your eyes and listen to the song, then fair enough, you could maybe enjoy it, although I don't know if it's hard rocking enough like I would expect in Devil May Cry 5. It was very, very pop rock rather than the heavy metal rock I would have been expecting with Devil May Cry 5, but hey, I guess it's everybody's individual choice. But I found that really, really, really cringeworthy. And then there was some really weird, out of place, anti-vape, anti-smoking, political-ish, moments in the awards that they just were really jarring. They weren't bad. It's not bad to make people conscious of smoking and how it can affect your health and everything, but it just seemed really out of place and really jarring in terms of the pacing and the thing. But yeah, the Game Awards this year was really cool and seemed to really tap into highlighting this year, even to making fun references when for example when Christopher Judge and Sonny Soldier came on stage, the obviously Kratos and Atreus from God of War, and they just had an epic boy moment.
Red boy.
And it was great, little references like that. So overall, Game Awards this year, I enjoyed it. You know, I really, really enjoyed it. I thought it was probably one of the best Game Awards that we've had in the last 5 years. I thought Jeff did a great job. I thought the awards, most of the awards that were given, were good. You know, were justifiable, and the you know, the winners were deserved, you know, to win. And I would have liked to see more awards, definitely. Less esports, not super. Myself personally, I'm not that interested in that. But even, you know, some of the game announcements were interesting, and then they kept the pacing quite well, and the trailers looked really good, and yeah, it was really, really cool. The only thing disappointing is obviously we didn't see any more about Death Stranding. There were rumors that Hideo Kojima might be at the Game Awards, but obviously those rumors were false, and nothing on Death Stranding, and maybe we'll hear something next year. I'm thinking that game's probably going to come out in 2020. But those are generally my thoughts on the Game Awards. Let me know what you guys thought. What do you think of the Game Awards? Let me know in the comment section below. What did you think of the winners? What did you think of the announcements? The overall show itself? Let me know your opinions, your thoughts in the comment section below. Of course, if you enjoyed the video, please, of course, hit the like button so show your support. Please subscribe if it's the first video that you've seen, and of course hit that notification bell so that you get information on when new videos go out as and when I upload them. Anyway, I hope you guys are having a great week and getting ready for Christmas. Anyway, take care guys and girls, and as always, happy gaming. Bye guys.